Good afternoon. Happy Friday, everybody. It is that time once again when we are back for Festival Friday Live. And just look at the sea of faces I've got joining us today, because I've got to say immediately, as soon as we start today, yesterday, we can count today because today would be the Sunday, is 1 month, one calendar month to the event. Tomorrow, it's just 4 weeks away, right? So it's getting exciting, guys. It's getting exciting. So yes, hello. Happy Festival Friday.
Hello.
I can see people are starting to come on and join us. So if you do come on, do let us know that you're here. We like you to talk to us. So make sure that StreamYard knows who you are. There's a little thing above for you to click to let StreamYard know who you are. And then just give us a little bit of a bit of a wave, a bit of a hello. You can fire away and ask some questions. One of you, I think, has got your sound up on your phone because I'm getting so just turn on your phone, turn your sound down. Thank you. Cool. Yes, I've got lots of fabulous guests to introduce to you today because we're getting close, right? And I want the next 4 weeks to really bring to life for you just what this event is about. And actually, I've seen so many people have massive light bulb moments this week where I've been seeing this thing in my feed for the last couple of weeks, months, but I'm not too sure I really got what it was all about. And like now I'm like, oh, this is epic. And absolutely, of course it is. Correct. That is the right answer. Good afternoon, Carol from Mid Cheshire Hospitals Charity. So lovely to see you. That sounds interesting, Carol. We'd love to know a little bit more about what you do. So do tell us. Is there anything we can do to contribute to Mid Cheshire Hospitals Charity? Because this festival is all about giving back wherever we can. So let us know, Carol. Drop me a DM if you need any help. We'd like to help get some of your women to the event if we can. Nick Parkinson, nice to see you too. Yeah. So I've got to admit, I've just said to the ladies, I'm a tad squiffy today. It is 2 so I think that's legal, but there's a reason, and that reason is because my eldest daughter is 19 today. It's her birthday, and so we've been out for a bit of prosecco brunch. So I'm 2 bucks fizzes down.
I can't believe she's 19, Joe.
19. Can you believe I have grown a person who is now in their 20th year? I did a Facebook post about it this morning, actually, and I said, I'm sure I'm only 21. How can this physically be? Because I only feel 21. Oh, there you go. Emma's saying hi to you, Carol. So, yes, it's 4 weeks away. Good. Thank you, Carol. There's 5 of you there now, so come on. Who else is there? Do say hello. Only Carol and Nicola have said hello so far. So yes, we're only 4 weeks away from We'll Manifest. So you're going to start to see a lot of our speakers, a lot of our guests, a lot of the women that are bringing their expertise, running workshops, doing some of that stuff for you at We'll Manifest, because we want to really bring it to life for you so you know exactly what's going on. Wow, Nikki, she's following us while she's walking up a big hill.
Hi, Nikki.
Yeah, so enjoy the hill and enjoy us. Hope you've got the sun on your face as well. Yeah, it is you. One will be you, Emma, but never mind. Not to worry. So yeah, it's been mad busy at One Manifest HQ this week. I've had to do a few boring jobs this week. Do you know what I've had to sort out this week? Waste. Bins. I've had to sort out bins this week. So, you know, there is a less glamorous side to putting on this event. Yeah, we can see you, Nikki. You might be a few seconds behind us, but we can see you.
Have you done toilets yet, Joe?
Pardon?
Have you done toilets yet? That's even worse.
No, see, I've been smart here, Chrissy. Really smart. It's an epic, excellent question. But I've picked a site that has got the most beautiful bathrooms already there.
That's a winner. This is the thing that I can't cope with at festivals and stuff, the toilets thing. I always end up buying like a posh tickets because I can't do the...
You don't need to do that with us.
Thing. I know.
Lovely toilets, lovely showers. And obviously there's a big block for women and there's a big block for men, but because we're predominantly women, we can use them all. So we will have a few men at the event, because, well, my husband's coming because I need his support and he's working for me that weekend. A few other women are also bringing their men, providing they're an advocate and a champion for us girlies, then they're allowed to come. And a few of like the stall holders and the food and drink people have got, men in their crew. So, but the toilets will be unisex for the weekend. But they've all got a door, so that's fine. There'll be a handful of men, loads of women, but we've got good toilets and we've got good showers. So that's really, really good news. So yeah, no need to sort toilets out on that one, but waste has been at the top of the list. What else have I been sorting out this week? Finally got us a pizza van this week.
Yeah.
So that is now food and drink. The food and drink lineup is complete. You've got pizza, you've got Mexican, you've got vegetarian, vegan, falafel and wraps and stuff. You've got this amazing lady who's invented her own West African sauce and does like chicken and rice and stuff with this West African sauce. We've got my local gelato shop doing all of their ice cream and cakes. We've got a fab coffee van, and then we've got a gin. We've got the gin tin, which is a cute little horse box gin van. We've got a cocktail bar called Mississippi. We've got a grown-up non-alcoholic drinks van. So this is a van called Jeffrey's Tonics. So, there's plenty of us that don't drink, right? Or that might not want to drink on that day, but we'd like a bit more than orange squash or a can of Coke. So Jeffrey's Tonics do amazingly beautiful, grown-up, non-alcoholic drinks. So we've got them. And we've got our own Woman Fizz truck.
Yay.
So that's it. That's a big tick off my list on that front.
That's
and we've
brilliant.
opened up a massive competition ticket giveaway this week that has just been going crackers on the internet. My phone hasn't stopped pinging with Instagram notifications for the last 3 days. So we've got an epic giveaway on for 4 VIP tickets. That's worth that's an 800 quid prize. So that's knocking about on the internet and I've used. So if you have a quick scroll on our feed, you should find that. And there's a couple of really simple things you can do to enter that competition if you want to win some VIP tickets. But we're here today for me to showcase to you these wonderful ladies. So I'm going to do a bit of a round robin with them. They're going to do a quick intro to themselves. But first and foremost, I want to hear from each of them to tell you what's the big compelling reason that they want to be part of this event. Why is Womanifest like, yes, I want to be part of Womanifest. So I'm going to come to Em first. Now, Emma and I have been connected for many, many years. In fact, we've been more than connected. We've been friends and we've been work colleagues for many, many years. We go back to 2000.
A long time ago. I always say that rather than managing me, you wrangled me.
Yeah, I didn't have a else chance of ever managing you. I wasn't even going to bring that up. I was going to let sleeping dogs lie, but it's what you share. But tell everybody, little intro to who you are and what you do. But what's the big draw for you about coming to speak at Womanifest?
So I am known as Chief Rebel because, as you may have guessed from the wrangling, I have never been someone that sort of stays within the lines. It's just kind of how I'm wired. And I now help other people to be their full unapologetic selves, either on an individual level, but also I help small businesses to grow and not get sucked into the corporate sludge and all of that kind of stuff. So I went to the first Womanifest in 2020. And I remember speaking to you, Jodie, and saying how amazing, what an incredible thing you'd created and how proud you were. And I also remember saying to you, you're going to outgrow this venue really quickly. So to see it become the version of it that it is this time as a proper festival, I feel like it's coming home to itself almost. Yeah. But I also remember watching some of those incredible speakers on that first one and thinking, I'm going to be up there next time. And the concept of my talk got born that very day. And I've been brewing it for a couple of years. And I just think I get so excited when I talk to people about the whole event, because there is so much stuff that is really deeply rooted in a genuine desire to uplift and empower people, and particularly the young person element. I just think I'm really, really passionate about it. I'm really excited about it. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, and do you know what? It proper sets my heart alight in a good way when I hear of people that were at 2020. Obviously, we couldn't do 21 because of flipping COVID. COVID kiboshed us for a year, but actually, more powerfully this year than back in 2020, have the stories been coming alive of what that first one really did for people, because it's taken its time to percolate and turn into something. Yes, they went away inspired. Yes, they went away and realized that actually I can be more, have more, do more, but they weren't quite sure what to do with that. And then over the pandemic's been the perfect opportunity, I think, for people to figure some of that stuff out. And I'm loving seeing people come back again out the other side. A number of you have made that leap and are now headlining at this event. And there's so many women who have made massive change in their life. So yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Now, George and Janet. Now, you're not side by side. On my screen, you're either side of Emma. Is it the same for everyone?
Right, look out, so they are.
Yeah, we are.
You could just go like that and put your arms round them. Like,
we could.
George and Janet are kind of in on the same thing at Will Manifest. And you're more new into
We are very new. We are very new.
Tell us a little bit about you guys.
And how it came about is that I recently put together a book of women's stories called A Life Less Serious and I love that Emma said that, because it is to inspire, uplift and encourage new perspectives on living. So it couldn't really be more in line with what you're talking about. And I was really looking for a women's festival, and there really was hardly anything out there. And I saw your festival and it so spoke to me, because it's so funny that Emma used the exact words that were on the front of the book to describe the festival, because that is exactly what it's about. And I was just so lit up when I met Jodie, and then I spoke to Janet, who's an integral part of the book, and shared really powerful stories, and she can speak for herself in a second. And we just felt like we really wanted to be part of it, and it sounds like it's a really empowering and really fun as well. And I read the program, and I think
when it comes to, I mean, I know we'll get into what A Life Less Serious means in a minute, but fun's got to be a big part of this, right?
Totally. And it looks like it's going to be a blast. And hearing all what you've got planned, I'm really excited for it. So that's really why I really wanted to be part of it. And I spoke to Janet, and she was really up for it too. And maybe she wants to say something now.
I was going to say, so Janet, in terms of being roped into this thing, how are you feeling about that?
It was kind of, Janet, do you fancy coming to this festival with me? And I'm like, oh, sure. And then I looked and went, oh, okay. And the thing is, what's amazing about this, last year I did want to go to a festival. I've never really been to a women's festival. And when I've looked at the lineup, it's absolutely amazing. I was speaking to George a bit earlier, and I said each of these different topics and what we're going to be speaking about as well, it's like it releases the inner goddess. That's what I think. It's just like when you're out of your head, when you're out of all of the conditioned thinking, your actual, who you truly are, that beautiful, powerful being that we are, actually comes to the fore. And so that's what I see in this festival, and I'm so excited. It's going to be my first women's festival. I'm so excited.
Amazing.
And being in a tent, because culturally that's not my thing. And so being in a bell tent is going to be an experience. So I'm really excited to be with George as well, who is an amazing, phenomenal woman. I feel so privileged to be alongside her and to share my experience in being a life less serious. So yeah, that's me.
Amazing. So lovely to have you with us, Janet. Now, Chrissy, tell everybody a little bit about what draws you to the festival, because actually you got involved, you applied to be part of this like right back at the beginning, as did Naomi, didn't you?
I think it was, obviously I saw all over social media in 2020. I've worked with a lot of the people that you have collaborated with, so your Danny Wallace's, your Joe from Chalk PR and things like that. And I thought, if these girls are into this stuff, this has seriously got to be some good shit. So I'd say that's pretty much why I engineered my place into a manifest. And I'm the biggest procrastinator. I had the most massive amount of imposter syndrome, and I've worked a lot on that. And I did my first proper speaking event last year, and I just thought, you know what better time than now? So that's why I applied to you to get it done, albeit I was the last one through the gate post, I think. Right. But I'm in the wellbeing tent, and I'll be doing my reframing methodology on how we can break away from unhealthy habits that no longer serve us in a positive light. So that's pretty much what I do. I solely focus on alcohol, but I do branch out to other remits like procrastination, which I am getting so much better at because I'm using my own methodologies on myself. So that's pretty much what I do. I'll be taking them through an envisagement part of my reframing program in the wellbeing tents. And I can't wait. I mean, I love the whole festival vibe anyway, because being in events in my previous life, or previous work roles, it's something that I really, really love. And I think you've just nailed it, Jode. So I think you've just absolutely done brilliantly. And the people that you've got on your lineup, some wicked women on there, some really amazing women.
That's my favourite bit of all of this, really, actually, is even if we took away all the messages we've got to share at this festival, right? Because God, what there's about, I think between the main stage, the wellbeing tent, some of the experiences, there's over 40 women with a serious amount of expertise bringing their good stuff to the table. But even if we stripped all that away and took it out, all of these women just together, like-minded women with a mindset for happiness, growth, personal development, I could give you a whole list of words, couldn't I? That's magic.
I think it's the empowerment stuff as well, where we all come together, because I think there's a lot of women who don't celebrate women and are fearful of celebrating women. And I think the fact that we can come together as a huge unit and just say, look, we're here, we're proud, we're supporting one another, and regardless of how far on you are in the journey, doesn't matter. Genuinely doesn't matter. We all want the same thing. We all want a happy, healthy life. And if we can bring that to others along the way, hell yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. So this is one big thing that is deliberately absent from this event. And so if you have any of this in your pocket when you get to the gate, we'll search you and we'll find it. And guess what? It's not gin. But if we find any judgment in your flipping pocket, confiscating it, because there's no room for comparisonitis, because it's not good for any of us. It's not for any of us that are feeling it. It's not good for anyone who's receiving it. So, that, I mean, don't turn up with drugs. That's a given. But that's not what we're searching you for at the door. All right. Well, we might search you for whether you've got any judgment in your pocket.
That's one of the most toxic things, isn't it?
For all of us, you're absolutely right, Chrissy. You couldn't wish for a better environment for us to all be as one, together, cheerleading, championing, celebrating each other, feeling really flipping good about each other, and not carrying any of that. Ugh! I've got no other word for it. It's just.
And if you are, there's going to be enough women around there. Just like you said, just let's shake it out of you. There's therapists.
I've bought a special machine. You just go up to it and it like goes.
I could do one of those in my house.
I haven't got that. But do you know what? There's plenty of women with habits that they might prefer not to have. So obviously, Chrissy frames some of her work in a specific sense. She might tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. But whatever, if you're sitting there thinking, oh yeah, I've got a habit I need to crack, then that might be a workshop that you want to go along to. Naomi, we've also been friends for a little while, haven't we? Particularly in the online space, but also in real life. Yes. So Yeah. What's bringing you to Will Manifest?
Well, I was one of the lucky ones.
Your dogs.
What my
Yeah,
dog?
sorry. It's
Oh, they're
mine.
yours, Paula. Yeah.
They're locked away, but yeah, they've gone now. Sorry.
There must be something in my voice.
Who's this
The
wonderful
dog's
woman?
out, that's it.
Yeah. Dog
So
whisperer.
no, I was really lucky to be at the last Will Manifest, and I did a workshop there.
Yes.
It was the first time that I'd shared my story. So I've done public speaking in the past, but it was all around kind of online marketing and websites. And it was the very first time that I kind of was able to share my story of adversity and in particular loss, and how I've overcome some of the kind of curveballs that have happened in my own life. So I know firsthand the energy that was in Will Manifest. I had a workshop upstairs. We had lots going on, didn't we? So for this year, for me to be on the main stage, sharing it in more depth, bigger, bolder and brighter than I was back then. And I'm just kind of sitting listening to everything that you've just said there, and in total agreement of there's something truly magical that happens when women come together and we have that connection to lift each other up and to be there and to support one another. And a lot of people who are at Will Manifest, both in the wellbeing tent and, you know, on main stage, I'm so blessed to have had in my life to help me through my own journey of self-development. And in the last 2 years, I have become, and like Emma said before, I've done all the stripping back and I have truly become who I am here to be unapologetically. So, you know, my book's been written, my product range is out. Obviously, I'm bringing all of that with me, which I'll talk about.
And some of it's behind her if you want a little nosy.
It is behind me. There's lots of stuff going on there. So busy at the moment.
And you will have a stall actually, won't you? So people will be able to buy some of your gear at the event.
They will indeed. So it's kind of like I've brought everything to life. And the first Will Manifest really was me just starting out and just being able to say that I could fully stand in my power and speak about my story.
And
I'm kind of fully living it. That's what
funny, isn't it, when we look back? 2.5 years, just look at what's changed for a lot of people that were there. So that's
a huge amount. So and I think, you know, I always talk about what do I do? I help people navigate life curveballs to discover their own inner happy and to really kind of love themselves and love their life. And, you know, we're only here once, it's not a dress rehearsal. And sort of fully embracing that. And all of the things that you've been talking about in terms of the curveballs, judgment is a major one, isn't it? And I would class that as one of life curveballs that certainly needs ditching on entrance. So
sometimes it's the judgment we have of ourselves before even anybody else gets involved, isn't it?
Absolutely, the inner critic.
You're not consumed with your own judgment. You haven't got room for anybody else's.
Absolutely. So I think for me, it's, you know, knowing firsthand some of the incredible people that are going to Will Manifest. And having had the pleasure of working with some of them as well. I know firsthand it's been life-changing for me. So I'm really excited about it being life-changing.
It's fab. Cool.
I've got a huge fly buzzing around me. So loud, honestly. If you can't hear it, I'm amazed.
No, we can't hear it. It's fine. But if you're like gazing around the room, we'll know you're not like not necessarily calling you at this moment. It is a fly. Now, Paula, we had an interesting trip to get you into Will Manifest, didn't we? And so what we're going to do now is we're going to play Reversey Percy. Has anybody ever had a Reversey Percy?
No.
So I'll have had a little bit of sherbet today. You know, Marks and Spencer's Percy Pigs.
30 years old this year, Percy Pig.
No way.
There you go. Right? Have you ever had a Reversey Percy? So they do a range called Reversey Percy. You know, because he's pink and then his ears are a bit red. You get the ones that are red with pink ears.
Because the red bits are like jellyish, aren't they?
Yeah. No, he's got a Percy Pig whole box out.
It's a big cake kit. Percy big cake kit.
Wow.
Right, well, don't you bake Will Manifest? We all want a slice of that. We'll get a picture of it. But what I mean, where I was going with that, Paula, is you kind of give us a vibe of what's attracting you to Womanifest, but I also would like you then to go on and talk about what it is that you're going to do, right? Because then we're going to play it in reverse. So you go that.
I'll start that process off. Yeah. So I've been a fan of yours, Jodie, since 2019 when you came to Elaine's Empowered Women's Talk in Warrington.
It was.
I think it must have been, yeah. Because from there, I was just like, who is this woman? And yeah, you like blew me away with some of your assertiveness tips. And yeah, so I was a big fan of yours, and then come along to your first Womanifest in Manchester. And I think one of the women said before was that I had a moment of going, I'm going to come back and do something here. I had that sense like, I want to be a part of this. I'm going to be a part of this. At that point, I didn't know to what capacity it was going to be, but I just knew, because I just loved your ethos, the way you are, the way you hold space, the way you're gathering like-minded women. And when women gathering this way, magic does happen, you know, and I absolutely thrive from that. So to be able to come and be a part of it in a festival as well, I prefer being outdoors. It makes sense to me that we're outdoors and we're doing it this way.
Hey, but listen,
yeah, and it's called Womanifest. It needs to be a festival.
I can't believe when I look back that we didn't do it like this in first, because I feel like a bit of a dime bar moment that it didn't occur. But I tell you something, this is a flipping steep learning curve going from inside to outside. Let me tell you.
I can imagine. So yeah, knowing that I wanted to be a part of it, but at this point, I weren't sure what capacity. I was on this journey of my own of empowerment, self-development, as many of us kind of go through life, and rediscovering parts of myself, and reclaiming parts of my lost self back, and thinking, yeah, God, I'm capable of that. I can do that. Shut up, imposter syndrome. So I went on a mission to be big, of fed up of playing small, hiding in the background, being everybody else's cheerleader. I was like, right, so what's the opposite of that? Well, it's to be big, but what does that look like? So I just kept putting myself up for opportunities, saying yes to things that I usually would have said no to. And I went on a bit of a journey with 33 other women called the Silver Spoon Collective. Yeah. And that's all around ancestral healing. And my journey was all around repairing my relationship with my body, accepting my body as it's getting older and plumper and wrinklier and dimplier, and stop resisting and fighting that. In the eyes of society, I should look a certain way, and I didn't fit that, you know, that stereotypical perfect woman. Yeah. So I then went on a little bit of a mission around England of holding workshop ceremonies with other women, where I got naked. I got naked in front of these women, and they would draw me, and then their artwork went into an exhibition. So it was a co-creative, collaborative piece workshop, and that's what I've continued that journey to share it with more women, because the feedback was, why the flip are we not doing this all the time, of like-minded women in this safe space, no judgment, no criticism, just realizing that we're all very similar. And it felt really natural. It just felt really natural. At first, yes, there was that panic. There was that kind of, oh my gosh, she's got a nice body, mine's not as good as that. And after a while, it goes, and we have fun. And so I'm bringing that to Womanifest, but a little taster of it, because it can get quite deep, some of the work that we do. And we want to keep it lighthearted and fun. So we're going to have lots of naked fun. We're gonna dance about. We're going to scream and shout. We're going to come back home to our bodies, and we're going to have a bit of fun with paint and painting our bodies.
Can't wait.
And naked bodies, yeah. So it's called the Nude Awakening.
Nude Awakening. And actually, last week I sat there and I thought, shit. Because I promised myself for this festival that I would enjoy it and experience it. Whereas last time I never got from backstage on the main stage because I was working it. I had to work the whole of the last one. Like, no. I'm almost putting this festival on as much for myself as anyone else. Well, I need to enjoy this. So I sat down and I thought, right, I need to work out exactly what I want to do here and what I want to see and make sure that I've coordinated it right so I can do all the things I want to do. Because I'm getting up front and centre in that workshop and getting painted. So yeah, in my massive list of new experiences to have. You know, that stage of life where I'm like, I just want to keep having new experiences, pushing my boundaries a little bit, and that massively spoke to me. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. And we did talk, didn't we, about, you know what, just because you come into the workshop doesn't mean you have to strip.
No. It's an invitation, you know, it's you go at your pace. If you don't want to take any clothes off, that's absolutely fine. If you just want to get your tits out, that's fine. You know, it's at your pace.
Whatever's gonna make you, because there's 5 words I use to make decisions about what manifest. Anything that goes on at this festival has to do at least one of these 5 things, right? Let's see if I can remember them. I can. So number 1 is that it educates people. So it gives them some input, some new information to do something with to make their life better. Number 2 is that it empowers them, you know, that they feel like they're in control and they can do something about themselves. They can take accountability for themselves and take action. Number 3 is that it inspires people. Number 4 is that it entertains them, right? So back to the fun angle and having a laugh. This weekend is about making new friends, having fun, smiling, belly laughs. I want people to go home with their abdominals hurting from laughing. So not from the yoga, from laughing. And then the final one is liberating, you know, and I've had a few experiences lately that have felt liberating, and that's like the most epic feeling. I know a few people are probably like, turn their nose up at this, but if I go back to my young days, my 18, 19, 20-year-old days, I wasn't shy of a bit of raving and a few additional substances, you know. And what I've learned as a grown-up is there are other ways to get the same kind of feeling, and doing experiences that are liberating is one of them. And I hope one does that kind of thing for me. So yeah, that's good. No pressure on that one.
No pressure.
But we'll be there front and centre to role model and lead the way. So yeah, exciting. So if you're ready for a bit of that, make sure you impulse a shot. So if we're going in that order, it was Naomi next, wasn't it? So tell everybody a bit about what you're doing.
I've just unmuted because they decided to drill right out of my house, right outside. So
and everything.
Pray that it stays quiet for 5 minutes. I think they've gone off on the lunch or something. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be talking about drinking life while it's fizzy, and what that really means to me and what it potentially means to everybody else on my talk. So for me, I'm not going to define what it means, but my talk really about making the most of your life. So I work a lot in mental health awareness and suicide prevention. I've had a lot of loss in my life, which I've mentioned before. I lost my brother in 2016 to suicide. And a lot of my work these days is really about how we can find our own inner light, and actually through adversity and some of the dark times, how we can anchor onto hope. And I'm going to be sharing some tools that we have with us all the time, literally in the palm of our hand, and hopefully inspiring other people that each day that we have the resources and the resilience to be able to regulate ourselves, to be able to find hope in some of the kind of more trying times that might come our way. I've got lots of little surprises up my sleeve. We started drilling again. In fact, I've got some party bags going on here already. I'm going to kind of look. I've got lots of stars and things.
I always love your swag. She always has good swag.
I always have swag, and I always have my props going. So so I'm hoping that lots of people will come and enjoy the party vibe. It's obviously got, you know, a serious message running through my talk, but equally how we can empower and inspire ourselves and others to be able to open up, to talk about stuff, and actually find our own inner resilience, inner peace, and inner happy.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many women though that I'm sure deep down to use your phrase, would love to drink life while it's fizzy. You know, this one shot at this game and making the most of it. But some people are just so stuck. And actually, what I think they'll get from spending time with you is getting unstuck and realizing that they can do this, and it doesn't have to be as difficult as they think it might be.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
totally. And I think sometimes when we have expectations in life that we think it's going to be one way, and then we kind of can't get out of that cycle of the way that it should be, and then kind of beat ourselves up because it's not how we wanted it to be. All these curveballs come in. So really, a little bit like Christine was talking before about habit breaking, it's the same sort of reframing in terms of how do we reframe our mindset to then be able to kind of get up to plan new things and actually be limitless and know that we can totally be anything we want to be. We can create our own realities. So that's what I'm looking forward to sharing.
Amazing. And actually that's a wonderful lead into Chrissy. So I know Chrissy mentioned a little bit about the habit stuff earlier. So, you know, if you want to elaborate a little bit more on that, what will people get from your habit breaker session? Because yours is a full-on workshop in the wellbeing tent. Naomi's doing a bit more of a TED style talk on the subject. You obviously get a little bit more time to get under the skin of some of this stuff.
So I think with what we're going to be doing, it's, I invite people in, let them know it's a completely safe space, because people that do tend to come to me don't want to openly share what it is that they may be struggling with, what habits that they want to break. And when I've run these workshops before, it's amazing how, again, I go back to the community of women in that team, in that tent, just help hold space for them, really connect with them, and therefore they bring it out themselves. So they actually do then want to share what it is that they may try and want to break. So
it is a bit of a smaller, more intimate space in the wellbeing tent, and you've got the time and the capacity and the environment to do some more of that a little bit.
It's not clinical, it's nothing like that. We don't go through things like, right, do it in list order, and I'm not speaking about addiction. And it's a very peaceful, spiritual space. I'm all into my angels. I absolutely adore my angels, because my whole life changed because I met my earth angel, which is why I do what I do now. 20 years in events, and then I just stopped it like that because I met my earth angel on a bridge, and it's like, shit, I need to do something else. And that is part of my story. So the reason I set up Habit Breaker is to help people weave away from the web of destruction before they start picking and pressing that self-destruct button. So it is the reframing, and I take them through it's realization, envisagement, focus and fun, relaxation, mindfulness and mindset, inspiring, nutrition, and exercise, and then finally grace and gratitude. So we bring all that together. But I think I normally pick out one element for a workshop, and for yours, I think I'm going to do the envisagement factor. So it's like, right, this is where you're at now. Where is it you want to be, and how do you think you can get there? And like Naomi said, it's about thinking big. It's about not putting those limits on yourself, because we are all capable of changing our life path. And it is for some it's instantaneous, for some it takes a lot of work. But it is just about being whole together and holding it. And it's massive for me is that it's holding each other, letting them know that they're being heard. Because a lot of the time when you're in a self-destruct habit, it's because you feel worthless, you feel less valued, you don't feel as though you're being listened to, and there's that void that you're filling. So you are, absolutely. And I think, as I'm all about the women, get in there, let's show each other some love, and just go, do you know what? You have the strength, you have the power, and you can find the grit in and amongst yourself to help you take it to the next level. And that's really what I do.
That's empowering, isn't it? That's the pure version of helping them to step into their own empowerment. Love that. Absolutely love that. Now then, George and swag. Pardon?
And I need to get some swag.
You need swag like Naomi's. Oh, well, she's set the bar now for swag.
I know.
He always does. Swag Chief. George, Janet, now you guys as a group of you are going to be together.
Yeah, there's both of us together.
A little bit of a different spin, something different to experience. So just bring that to life for everybody about what's going to happen in your session.
I think it really carries on from what everyone's been saying, and I'm sure I'll start and Janet will kind of follow on, I think. But I think what we want to do is really create a space for people, a safe space, but also for reflection and to see, how much we innocently, with our habits of thinking and what we think about ourselves and how we think we should be or shouldn't be, and all these things we don't even realize. It's like it's blind to us until we see it. And I think for me in the session, I guess what I'd love to do is share bits of the book, so help people reflect on that and get eyes for it. Because to me, my experience is that I never realized that I was living in such a busy-minded head. And I didn't realize how much I was taking my thinking so seriously and how much it was impacting me. And, I actually used to get burnt out at work because I was taking it all seriously and trying to control everything and, trying to dot every I, cross every T, and thinking that, try and plan for every eventuality. And I didn't see that actually whatever happened, I would know what to do. I didn't see I had within me everything I needed. And I think all the stories in the book point to that we all have what we need if we just get out our own way. And I think that what we'd love to do is share some of that through our stories and through creating a reflective space. And people can share as much as little as they like and contribute as much as little as they like. And hopefully be a very light sparse space, but hopefully very, very empowering space. And maybe Janet we want to build on that.
It's brilliant. And when I'm listening to George, and I suppose it's also the experience that I've had as well. So my chapter in the book's called "Wow, I Got Divorced," and so it's about how listening and trusting our wisdom, our innate guide. When we're talking about that power, that intuition, that's what we're pointing towards. So it's not only about, okay, let's have a look at this and see what this is like. It's about let's experience what trusting our wisdom is like in the moment, so that can guide us through our difficult situations. And that's when we're saying life is less serious, is that we were born with this innate system, and then it's taught out of us. And so what we want to do is take us back to that innate wisdom, to our true identity, who we are. So that guides us.
Yeah.
And life becomes
beautiful. It's mad, isn't it? But actually, I think stories, culture is formed on stories, isn't it? And so by sharing stories, that's how we shape and change culture, is by starting to manipulate and shift some of that narrative. And it sounds a bit of a woo-woo woolly way to move culture. Most people, I spent years going into organizations where an organization, big corporate organization, wants a culture change in their business. And everyone's sitting around waiting for the big cheese to turn up with his PowerPoint slides. And I say his on purpose. It's not a flipping slip up. And, they think that the minute they get this delivered PowerPoint presentation, well, that's it. A culture is just miraculously going to be different. And I say to people, come on, people. Culture only changes when individual people decide to stand up, tell some stories, and do something different. And, and that's a big part of what Will Manifest is. I'm passionate about the flipping gender equality mission. And that, to be honest, at the minute, it feels like we're going backwards, not forwards. At this rate, we're going to nowhere near get to equality in the next 100 years. I can't bear to think that. So we've got to do something about it. And this is about bringing women together to help them to realize that this all starts with women like us who can, because not all women can, right? Not all women have the luxury to be able to just be like, I can be different right now. And that will drive change. There's a number of us that we're privileged, we're lucky, we have the opportunity, and we owe it to the women who can't and the next generation that are about to follow us. Now, I know Naomi's got 2 daughters. I've got 3 teenage girls. Emma, you've got a young niece. There's lots of us that have got young women around us. that need this path paving for them, and it's stories and all of that does that. And especially when it comes to not taking ourselves so bloody serious and living in these, it hurts, doesn't it?
It really hurts. It really does. And I think also you get so used to living in the noise of your, you know, your negative self-talk or whatever, your busy mind and trying to work everything out. You blot out what the wisdom and the power that you are, because you can't hear it anymore. And so that's what we love to share. And I think there's also something really, and I really hear that today in an authentic, you know, truthful stories. It's so rare. And I'm getting so many comments from the book, like that people are really, you know, people have been really powerfully shared, really up and down stories, like really how life is. And people, a lot of women don't get to see that because we all present a way of ourselves, and very rarely people talk about authentically about what's going on, what's not. And I think it's
trying to keep up with the Joneses, aren't they?
Exactly. It's just enough. We are who we are, with ups, downs, ins, outs. That is life, and we can't pretend otherwise. And it's exhausting trying to pretend, so why would we? And it's giving people the power to see that, and actually how liberating it is, and how much power there is when you see beyond that, and you can get more in touch with who you are underneath all that noise. So I'm so excited about this. So yeah.
You know, one of the things that I think is even more powerful actually about Will Manifest, with the stuff that you guys are saying there, is that it's not just about the immense power of supporting each other as a community, but actually there's an underlying message, or actually very strong message here, that you can now and should now be in, like, spending money, spending time, spending energy on you as a person. Because, and I was laughing so hard before, Jodie, when you were talking about, you know, I get the thing all the time, you go into businesses, they expect you to weave a magic spell, fix the people, but the leaders don't look at themselves to say, well, what am I doing to create this culture? What we, perhaps as very giving, generous women, do is forget we are also leaders, because we're serving other people, but actually we can't do that well unless we invest in ourselves. And this is when the phrase charity begins at home. My belief is you have to really look at yourself in the mirror, treat yourself right, look at your shadows and your light, in order to serve your community and be a role model for young people in the best way possible, and be open to what younger people can teach us, because they are the upgrade of us if we do it right. And I just think that is one of the things I'm so passionate about being associated with Will Manifest for, because of the Girls Out Loud stuff and watching last week's live with Jane. And there's so many beautiful messages in all of this.
Yeah, there is. And actually, on that note, tell everybody a little bit about what you're going to be talking about, because I'm actually you've got a parent squeeze to do soon, haven't you? Me. Yeah, you. So actually, share with everybody what they might get from the talk that you're going to be doing on the main stage.
So I'm excited about it because, I'm 44 years old, and I am what I am now calling an advanced level spinster. Okay. And much like I am redefining the word rebellion to mean that it's not raging against the machine, being anti-establishment, it's about breaking our own inner rules and restrictions. What I've learned about being single for them in some form or other for the most part of my adult life is that there are certain perceptions in society about single women in their 30s, 40s and beyond, unmarried, you know, or divorced, or any kind of single version, and you know, that kind of, oh, what's a good looking girl like you doing on their own, you know, kind of you're half a person mentality. There are rules and restrictions and perceptions in society about that I have found incredibly interesting, at times very frustrating and upsetting. And having not chosen to be single at this age, you know, for this amount of time, what I have learned is I am a person that I deeply love, that I have learned to love, and that I wouldn't be that person had I spent that time with somebody else. And so my talk is about how to break the rules of being single and be a kick-ass independent woman. So it's for people who are in a situation like I am, or who are newly single, almost going to be single, that it might be daunting for them, thinking of becoming single.
Yeah, and there's a few
but
people
also
like
women
that
who just want to, but women who just want to be who they are in their own right, whether they're in a relationship or not.
Who's got the feds coming?
It's me.
Wow.
I'm in downtown LA, Latchford area, so it's standard.
Feds around the corner. But right, so you know, that is a really important message. I think it's one that's not talked about enough. It's kind of taboo.
Yes.
You know, women like you are expected just to put up with the crappy comments that you get. You still not settled down with anybody? You know, and I think it's important you state yourself that actually, this isn't me saying I don't want a relationship and I'm choosing to be single. You're actually saying, I would have loved to have been in a relationship, thanks, but I'm not.
I'm not going to be in a crappy one just because I'm frightened of being on my own.
You know what? I just think I absolutely love that, and I can't wait for your talk, because I'm a single mom. I've been a single mom for years, and again, it's this stigma, isn't it, around and so we're going to come back to judgment again, which is the theme, but it's external judgment and external perception on who we are as individuals because we are single.
But what I kind of wanted to say about that is that doesn't mean it's not a talk for women who are in a relationship.
So sorry, Jodo, can I just share? I was talking the other day about loneliness, because some of the work I'm doing at the moment is around loneliness and how the art of being alone, and actually loneliness isn't about being alone and all of the kind of stuff around that. But I have been more lonely in a relationship than I am now living alone with teenage daughters who are never here.
I agree.
About. So I think it is that as well, isn't it? But it's again, like Em said, how we learn to love ourselves, and there's the whole all of it, and the shadow work that you do in terms of being able to embrace and love every single part of you is key to finding that inner happy in single life when there is only you.
Yeah. But equally, I do think there are lots of women who are in relationships that have gone into them. You know, the ones that you're saying, I'm not prepared to do that. I'm not I'm not taking second level standard here. You know, but there's lots of women that are like, I just kind of need to see this out for the kids, or blah blah blah, or whatever.
Whilst you can understand that, that's not role modeling.
No, and it's not happy.
It must be so hard.
But I guess the message is, I don't want them to be scared off coming to your talk thinking, well, the only answer is that I have to leave this relationship.
Yes.
Kind of what I want them to be able to understand is you're talking about how to feel like a strong, independent woman. Mm-hmm. And anybody can feel like that. So whatever your personal circumstances, yes, if you're single and Emma's story, Naomi's story resonates with you, then absolutely it's 100% for you. But equally, if you're somebody like me, who's in a really happy marriage now, been divorced before, wasn't the best one the first time around, in a really happy marriage now, but there will still be some things that I could learn from that about how I can enrich my ability to be a strong, independent woman. Yeah.
Because you're not just wife, you're not just mum, you're not just a
certified Jodie bad John.
You're absolutely a Jodes, and that is a very independent entity to every other role that you play, and you're right, and interconnected to every other role that you play.
And as much as some of us, you know, we do love the other roles that we play, mum, wife, carer, friend, whatever it is, you know, first and foremost, we were put on this earth with our own name badge.
Yes.
And it's important that you can put that name badge on and it feels like something, not where we look in the mirror and we don't recognize the person staring back at us. So yeah. Oh my word, what an epic Festival Friday live.
I just want to say I'm so looking forward to Em. So much that I can relate to with Em and Naomi. So obviously, you know, drinking, you're filling that void. You're not happy in a relationship. You're filling that void. And my boys now thought I was absolutely crazy because 3 years ago I moved away from being in that relationship or one of, which was really unhealthy. And I purposely set myself out on a mission. That's it. no men. I don't need no men, no one in my life. I just need to learn and love myself.
Yeah.
And in doing that, it meant I knew exactly what kind of woman I was and who I wanted to become if I chose to go into a relationship and not lose my self-identity and not dim my light for somebody else.
Yeah.
And I think, do you know what? It's such a powerful topic. And again, I'm massively into manifestation. I wrote a list, and I remember going to brunch with my girlfriends, and I was the butt of the joke. So, are you on dating sites? You're on this? Who are you seeing? How many dick pics have you got this week? And that kind of stuff. And it's just like, come on.
Soul destroying.
And I just thought, and I went, do you know what? I've got a list. And I read the list out, and they went, well, your expectations are way too high. I went, no, they're not. I said, because the relationships I've been in the past have made me lonely. I've very nearly not been here because of certain individuals. I am not going to lower my standards now. I found my true self. I found my inner goddess. I found that I'm fucking sexy as hell. And I want somebody to come and be, okay, I'll match you at your game of what is it we need to do. And I used to, honestly, Joe's girls, I used to set the dinner table an extra space. And I used to say to my boys, don't sit there. And they would go, well, why not? Because my new boyfriend's going to be coming.
Love of my life.
Exactly what I did. I cleared space in my wardrobe for him. I cleared the
I started doing that. I started sleeping on one side of the bed a few years ago.
And I do, honestly. It's so freaking powerful. Once you learn to love yourself and put yourself in that, I'm going to learn how to be me by being single and not be reliant or dependent on anybody. And I tell you now, I am in the best fucking relationship ever.
Oh, that's so inspiring to me.
So lovely. And I think what you're doing is incredible.
Oh, what we're doing, right?
Absolutely.
Well, listen, that is a proper mic drop moment. So that's kind of it, isn't it, for us all? Boom. Listen, thank you for coming on today. We've been talking for an hour, so I'm sorry I kept longer than I said I would, but it was important conversation, some of that. I hope if you've been watching this, you've enjoyed it. If you were kind of like, I don't know about this thing, then I'm hoping it's compelled you to think, oh my word, I need to get my ass there. If you've listened to something today, maybe it doesn't resonate with you personally, right? But maybe it would resonate with somebody close to you, somebody who you know. Give this a share, please, because collectively, we're on a mission to get to the women that need this most, wherever they're at in life, whatever's going on for them. So give this a share if you know somebody, or tag them in it. I don't care, but don't keep it to yourself, right? Because this event is really important to, I'm running out of words to say about it, that really does give people the springboard, the opportunity, the connections to make the changes in their life that, God, maybe they didn't even know existed, right? And that's just bloody beautiful if that happens.
Can we do this every week forever, even after We'll Manifest 2022 is done?
We are.
I love it. Can we do this every week forever, even after this year's festival is done? Because I've just loved it.
There's no reason why we can't. I'm actually thinking there's a podcast in this, so
yeah,
definitely. So you're definitely onto the
Jules.
We'll see. We'll see. We've got enough to think about for the next 4 weeks. Can't possibly think about anything else. So thank you for coming. I hope you've all enjoyed watching this. And yeah, we'll see you back same time next week. And no doubt I'll have another amazing lineup of women to share with you. So have yourselves a flipping epic weekend. See you later.